product, and what are the layers involved, and what are the responsibilities of individual layers involved in AEM, and how we can utilize the capabilities of each layer in different scenarios, and what are the other products which are part of Marketing Cloud, and what these products are doing, and how it can benefit the business users, okay, and solve any problems related to the organization's goals for meeting sales expectations. So the initiative which is taken by Adobe for purchasing the day software was to ensure that they want to integrate the existing Creative Cloud products to enhance its capabilities where they can target to the content management space. So they are successful very much. Initially, Adobe was only involved in creative tools like Photoshop, Illustrator, PageMaker, PDF, this kind of technologies. Then they acquired Micromedia. After acquiring Micromedia, they got Flash technology and Dreamweaver, Fireworks. This kind of products they acquired, and they have integrated some of the products, and they have bundled the products, and they start selling them, and they are very much successful in that. And after that, because Adobe was not having any server technology for content management space, they have chosen day software as one of the leading content management systems, which can be taken further if the proper support is given, and if the products are properly integrated, what they have currently in their product line. So they have acquired day software, they have acquired another product, another company called Mnature, they have acquired Neolon. There are many companies which they have acquired, and they have formed it as a marketing cloud.
Yeah.
So it is better to understand the history of the product when you want to work on any product. So what are the roots of the product, and how it has grown, and why we are using this technology, and the technology itself you can understand, and what products makes the marketing cloud, including the CQ5 and its main components. We'll see the architecture, how Sling request processing works, and we'll see the concepts of development objects, and slowly we'll move towards how the installation goes on for this product. What are the steps you need to take for doing the installation properly. We have something called author mode, we have publish mode. So we'll see how this two basically works, and how you can integrate this both together. So in the year 1993, Day Software was founded, and David was one of the founders of the Day Software, which is located in Switzerland, and currently he's a vice president at Adobe, and it is acquired for $240 million in July 2010. If you are there already at that time in Adobe, you might have known.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
Day Software was focusing more heavily on content management system, and David was contributing his efforts to create a specification for Java content repository, with a specification lead known as JSR 170 and JSR 283 standard. So these are the two specifications that define JCR 1.0 and 2.0 technologies. So Java content repository, people majoritarily started utilizing it because it's lightweight nature, and yeah, it is the way it will allow you to store the data in hierarchical format, and very lightweight, and allows you to access the data faster compared to any database in the world. So they have chosen it. I mean, when the specification was written, the initial idea was to simplify the way you store the data and you access the data, and it should also give high performance compared to any database in the world. So the APIs have been written, for allowing people to store the data retrieve the data and manipulate the data inside the Java content repository, and allows the web pages to access the data from the repository. So the APIs have been introduced for accessing the data from the repository, manipulating it, and doing a lot of other operations on the repository. So initially, they have created a open source software project known as Apache Jackrabbit. Now, the Jackrabbit is internally having this JCR, which allows you to store the data, and it is an open source lightweight version of JCR, which is implemented inside Jackrabbit. So when I say about Jackrabbit, it is nothing but utilizing internally JCR, which is open source version of JCR. Okay.
Okay.
And Apache Sling is the feature which is introduced to allow to access the data from the JCR. Okay.
Okay.
So the APIs have been introduced for storing the data, manipulating the data, and all those operations through Sling capabilities. So it uses REST framework. Are you familiar with REST?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it utilizes REST features to access the data and do the manipulations. So because it was evolving technology, and later on people have adapted REST very fast. So they thought of integrating that fully with Jackrabbit, and they have released in the market, and they have seen how people are reacting. So the results were very good. People adapted it in not just in small applications or small softwares. Many other companies have adapted Jackrabbit in their content management systems. So what David has done is he thought of creating a full scale high performance version of Jackrabbit, and
Okay.
he named Jackrabbit as CRX, which is extended version of Jackrabbit, which has more performance gain, and it has an ability to address large repositories, and has an ability to store a lot of more amount of data, and uh, it can handle more users. I mean, the load of the repository can be more if there are more users connected to the server. So content repository Extreme was created, which is a licensed version of Jackrabbit.
Okay. So CRX means Content Repository Extreme,
Yes,
and that is advanced version of basically Jackrabbit with advanced features for scalability, size,
reliability, and
and
yes,
reliability, all that features. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Still, Jackrabbit is available. Anybody who wants to download, and they can integrate with their existing application free of cost.
So that is open source version of the JCR
CRX.
implementation, and
Yes,
CRX is the like enterprise edition kind of thing with more options, with more
yes,
stability and reliability. Okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
So if you see the timeline, actual recognition of CQ started from 2002. Though they have invented the technology, there have been a lot of loopholes in the product, and it was not that much successful till version 3.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from version 3.5, they have made the underlying architecture as Java. Before that, it was not Java. So when they
Okay.
have shifted the underlying architecture to Java, they started getting the recognition in the market, because majority of the people were doing development on Java, and shifting to content repository which is based on Java was easy for them.
Yes. Yeah.
So people started recognizing CQ, and it was having very basic features at that time, at that point of time, allowing people to do basic editing of the pages, storing the data, and but not very much advanced what we see today. So as the time passed, they integrated various features like digital asset management, social capabilities when the social media was active after 2009, more.
Mm-hmm.
So various capabilities have been added over the period of time, but during this period, in 2010, as I said, Adobe acquired Day Software, and starting from 5.4 version, it was known as Adobe CQ rather than Day CQ.
Yeah.
And it was renamed to AEM later on, Adobe Experience Manager. It was renamed as Web Experience Manager also, WEM or WCM,
Yeah.
in between 2011 and
In between.
2013. Yeah, so people were very confused, what is WCM, what is WEM, and what is CQ, and what is AEM. So people
AEM.
were
Yeah.
thinking, so people were thinking like all these are different products.
Yeah.
So later on, Adobe thought of because the product was newly acquired, and people were thinking of innovative names for it, to cash in with the popularization and its capabilities. So they have
Yeah.
experimented with some names, and this they at last they freeze on one name.
Yeah. That's better now. Yeah. That's where when I did recognize is when they acquired Day, I was with
Yes.
Adobe, but that time they were giving lot of names. CQ. They got one more name, ADEP, Adobe Digital Experience Platform, something. There are too
Yeah,
many
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. ADEP. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. After getting the AEM, it was bit stable. Now people know what is AEM, how it is for the
No, no.
ecosystem.
Still, people are confused.
Yeah, the different thing, Omniture, the other bits, they all included. But yeah,
Yeah.
still confusion is there, but it's getting better now.
Yes, yes, it's better. It's getting better in developed countries, not in developing countries.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if you see currently in with a research which is done with Gartner report, you'll find that CQ is now in top three content management systems in the world. Um, it is now one of the most popular content management system compared to Oracle Web Center, or if you compare with Microsoft SharePoint or Sitecore, Drupal, all these content management systems which have been driving the CMS era. Adobe
Yeah,
has come into the middle of it from nowhere, and they have acquired the market. Huge
yeah,
share they have acquired from
yeah,
last 3-4 years. So everybody is talking about CQ5, and they want to migrate to their platform because it gives a good integration with analytics, social media, and it allows people to monitor the content properly, target users properly, and allow people to add plugins and hooks to various capabilities which they already need are already there inside the product.
okay.
So it's a leading CMS in the market and one of the top. Okay,
Mm-hmm,
and you'll be able to build and maintain your web presence easily,
mm-hmm,
and you'll be able to capture the online visitor behavior, convert your customer interest into sales. There are various capabilities inside which will allow you to serve the content, gender specific content. You'll be able to serve geographic region specific content, climate specific content. Okay,
yeah.
so it's more advanced than traditional CMSs available in the
Yeah.
world.
Basically, personalization and contextualization of the
Yeah,
content.
it's very, very, very powerful in that.
Yeah.
And one of the good thing which we got as part of this product is like it runs on multiple platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Because its underlying architecture is Java, it can be deployed on Linux, Windows, Solaris, Mac OS, and other platforms where Java is supported.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
access and modify the capabilities of the product, you just need the browser.
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to control the functionality of the server.
Okay.
You'll be able to author the pages. You'll be able to control the server capabilities.
Yeah.
You can administer the server actually.
Okay. So it's all done through the web interface.
That's it. That's the only thing which you need.
Mhm.
Even if you want to do the development, you can do that from web interface. So it's no need to have a separate ID if you want to do the development.
Okay.
So it's very powerful. It's scalable. Okay, easy to use, and it integrates with third-party systems very well. And there are many
Mhm.
plugins and many companies who are manufacturing plugins which solves critical business problems which are not part of AEM. So they are supplying plugins and they are cashing in by selling the plugins.
Okay. Cool. Mm.
Like in Flex, we used to have
Yeah.
different
Components.
components, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some kind of components which are like charting components, if they are not available
XCCS. Yeah.
defaultly, we
Yeah.
basically purchase charting components from different companies, or advanced data grid components or any other which is not there. Similar to
Yeah.
that, there are some companies who are inventing new plugins which are not already part of AEM. So there is also space where companies are creating plugins where it can save a lot of
Okay.
development time for the developers and for the organizations.
Okay. Cool.
So as I said earlier, it is based on Java,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it takes multi-platform
Philosophy.
advantage. Okay, write once, run anywhere philosophy is applied,
Mm-hmm.
and majority of the pages which are created inside AEM are based on JSP, and it includes HTML5 code, and it can have HTML4 code also, and uses Sling and
Okay.
Jackrabbit capabilities. And
Mm-hmm.
the wrapper platform is known as OSGI,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
where all the services of Java runs inside OSGI service platform. So it
Okay.
is a container inside which your all capabilities of the server will run, which runs on again on top of Java.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Did you heard about OSGI previously?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I never used that in my application. It's basically modularizing the application so that you can plug and
Yes,
play with the
yes,
components
yes.
used in the application.
Generally, in if you see in J2E compliant application servers, we
Yeah.
when you deploy the new capabilities, AR or WAR files, you might need to restart the server for changes to effect.
Yes. With
But using
OSGI.
OSGI, we need not to restart the server.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is having good dynamic nature, where you can have services installed and uninstalled and refreshed or reinstalled without restarting the complete server.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So people have been asking me what is CQ stands for. Many times I encounter this question. What is CQ?
Mm.
What is CQ? Is it content management? What is it actually? So it is a Swiss word, which is taken known as Communic, okay, which is a
Yeah.
name for the content.
Mm-hmm.
So it was named as Day Communic WCM initially, then Communic, then Day Software CQ, then after Adobe acquired, yeah, they have named it as Adobe CQ, then they have named it as WEM, Web Experience Manager, Content Manager. Then last, the current manifestation which we are using is AEM.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
have also used AEDP, Adobe Digital Experience platform, but now that was used for a few months, and then they have discarded that name. They named it to WCM, During the acquisition from 2010 to 2013, I can say that the names have changed very often.
Yeah.
Thank God we are now on stable name, and they have announced
Same
that
name.
they are not going to do the changes in the name of the product to further create the confusion. They don't want to do it. So they want to just integrate the new capabilities in the new existing product without changing the name. So Adobe is busy adding new functionality to their AEM product by integrating it with already extensive software suite, because Adobe has products like PDF technology. They have creative technologies like Photoshop, Illustrator, various other technologies related to analytics, okay, which they have acquired from some other companies. So they want to integrate all this with AEM and make it more powerful and stand out from different competitor products. Okay, so here we got a lot of things happening. If you see, for moving forward, there are a lot of new surprises coming up, and they are announcing new things every year. Some new thing is coming up. Recently they have announced that they are going to make multi-language websites automated, where people need not to do a lot of copy paste work, which they have been doing from long time. So it's
Uh-huh.
going to make life more easier for publishers to maintain multi-language versions of the same site.
Yeah, that will be very good, interesting feature.
Yeah, because if you see, a lot of people are doing copy paste from Google Translation and other translation web services.
Translation, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so that's a very big headache, for companies who are maintaining their global presence. It is very big challenge for them, if they want to do it.
okay.
So with new features coming up, we'll be able to solve that problem easily.
Mm-hmm.
So they are investing millions of dollars to increase the capabilities and integrate it with Creative Cloud services. So we are getting a lot of new products as part of Creative Cloud also, which allows people
Mm-hmm.
to edit the content and maintain the designs, write the code, and we also have Dreamweaver, but as of now they have not integrated Dreamweaver with CQ, but they have recently launched a product called Adobe Brackets. So the
Mm-hmm.
brackets is getting connected with AEM, which allows
Mm-hmm.
developers to do the coding easily with the inbuilt functionalities of code hinting and the inbuilt components available there, for allowing people to
Okay.
do the editing of the code easily.
Okay.
So we have the umbrella name called Adobe Marketing Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
similar to Creative Cloud. So if you see Creative Cloud, we got Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, Premiere,
Mm-hmm.
Dreamweaver. Like this, there are many products which are part of Creative Cloud umbrella name. Uh, Similar to Adobe Lifecycle Enterprise Suite, we have different products. Similar to that, Marketing Cloud have different products.
Mm-hmm.
So to their clients, they sometimes they sell it as a package, or they sell it as individual products depending on the need of the client. Majority
Mm-hmm.
of the people prefer to go with Experience Manager with analytics, or go with the target.
Okay.
So these all products connect with the Experience Manager easily. The center focus for this products is Experience Manager, because it has hooks to connect to all these other products.
Okay.
So Adobe Analytics, it is very similar to Google Analytics, but
Mm-hmm.
it has more capabilities towards personalized content and monitoring. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is not possible with Google Analytics. Of course, the license cost is little expensive compared to Google Analytics. People generally also have free accounts to use with Google Analytics. Certain amounts of hits are recorded per day. There are some limitations. As of now, we don't have any free account for Adobe Analytics. Everything is licensed because it is geared towards enterprise analytics direction.
Okay.
And then we got Adobe Campaign, which was acquired from Newlon, another company called Newlon. They have acquired it
Mm-hmm.
in 2010 or 2011, I believe. And it allows you to, create experiences for depending on the customer habits and preferences. And it is good solution which helps you to know what customers want even before they do. Okay, so we have some campaigns features which allows you to even create newsletters, monitor the deliveries of the newsletters and connect with the customers if you have any big email address list. Generally, the data is collected from various sources and targeted to the different customers based on the industry, something like that. So there are companies which are maintaining, industry-specific email addresses, industry-specific, contact details of many people. If you want to get that database, you might have to pay. But
Mm-hmm.
you can use campaign to, send the communication and determine the habits and preferences of the users through campaign product.
Okay.
And our media optimizer is also there. Media optimizer is industry's first fully integrated digital advertising platform, which allows you to, maintain your videos, images, all those assets, and target to multiple platforms for, advertising your products to have
Okay.
peak return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, social gives you good capabilities where if you want to integrate with many social networking websites and you want to have a single location where you want to control the organization's presence on all these social networking websites, around 15 to 20 social networking websites are supported, which are very popular in the world. You can have a single interface where you can manage all the activities which is taking place on these all social networking websites from single location.
Okay.
And of course, if you want to do multivariate testing and A/B testing, you'll be able to use Adobe Target.
Okay. So that's like testing the product.
Testing the
Uh,
behavior of the user, what areas user is more focusing and what areas user is not focusing, you'll be able to test it by understanding the user's behavior.
okay.
For example, generally people, see the header of the page, home page, and the left
Uh-huh.
side of the page very often.
Uh-huh.
So it records, what areas are being, seen by the user by understanding their behavior on the website. What are the areas they are focusing more, and it gives suggestions for, improving the content on various areas which users are looking very often. You might be putting some content which is not relevant to the users, and there is no content when they are looking where they are looking.
Okay.
So that was about the products which are part of Marketing Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
These are the main components of AEM. So if I talk AEM or CQ5, both means the same. So there
Same,
should
yeah.
not be any confusion because people, because they still go with CQ5, they are not able to understand AEM. So I generally try to speak CQ5 more rather than AEM. So it will take some time for people to understand when I talk about AEM as well as CQ5, both refers to the same product.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so it has one of the component called WCM, which allows you to
Uh-huh.
manage the content, author the pages, and publish the pages, have a review process initiated for various teams to work together. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and like in forms, in Adobe Forms, you have review process where you can have multiple people working on the forms can review the content or the design of the form, and then they can freeze on some content or the design of the form.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Similar to that. Because I have good understanding of Acrobat also. That's the reason I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's easy to compare products. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the licensed version of Jackrabbit CRX is part of AEM. So you need not to purchase CRX separately. It comes with the
Uh-huh.
installation of AEM
Okay.
because they have licensed, they sell licenses of CRX separately if you want multi-user license or multi-server licenses. Okay.
Okay.
But this comes with inbuilt with AEM, so you need not to purchase a separate license for CRX.
Okay.
So as I discussed earlier, it is more powerful and it has more scalability and reliability features compared to Jackrabbit.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you have external CRX servers running on different physical machines, you'll be able to use JCR connectors to connect to those repositories which are running on different servers.
Okay.
So here in AEM, we don't have database. We have JCR, Java Content Repository. So we don't use Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, something like that to store the data.
Uh-huh.
Everything is inside JCR.
Okay.
And because when we are talking about publishing the content on the web, majoritarily there are many content on the web apart from the text. We have images, we have videos, we have documents, we have audio
Uh-huh.
content, right? So there are a lot of things going on the web, on the pages. So all these things you can store
Yeah.
inside data asset management in DAM, and you can tag them. It is easily searchable. You can categorize them,
Uh-huh.
okay, and so that it will be easily accessible to the developers as well as for the designers. You can initiate the review process for the digital assets also, where the creative teams and non-creative teams can work together.
Okay.
For example, a marketing head of the marketing department, might request to roll out a marketing campaign for, let's say, like Samsung new phone. Any new Samsung phone is coming, and they want to roll out a new marketing campaign. So they might be
Okay.
interested in doing online campaign on their website first.
Yeah.
So they'll design the banners for their website, and how the message should appear, any promotional offers to be added to the banners. So if the designer of the banner is not putting proper content, there can be a review process on the digital assets, which will help the other team members to collaborate and share their views and finally approve them, which can go to the final approval process.
Okay. So basically, there's a approval system we can apply for the content and the assets. So,
Yes,
okay. Yeah.
for the pages as well as for the assets which are used on the pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we have some of the collaboration features which we got, where if you want to create any chatting applications or what we say previously, when you use Flex, you use a Flash Media Server to create video conferencing applications or creating chatting applications. So that
Yes.
you can achieve inside AEM inbuilt.
Okay.
And of course, there are hooks to integrate with other content management systems like ATG, uh, which is from some company I'm not able to recall.
Sound.
Um, AMDocs, I believe. ATG is a product from AMDocs, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you want to integrate with that content management system, you'll be able to integrate with it. And you can migrate the content from ATG to AEM.
Mhm.
So we have an architecture stack here. So the lowest level or the base level is the Java runtime environment.
Uh-huh.
Minimum is version 1.6, which is needed, and 1.7 is recommended.
Okay.
On top of that, we have the Granite platform, inside which the Granite platform is a runtime. Okay. Uh,
Uh-huh.
uh, I mean, it is an application which runs on the on top of the runtime, where we have other layers as part of it.
Okay.
So we have OSGI framework, which I said, it includes all the capabilities of the server, can be started, can be stopped without restarting the complete server.
Uh-huh.
And we have CQ SE, which is CQ Servlet Engine,
Uh-huh.
which is responsible for all execution of your code and everything. Through CQSE, it is done. Optionally, you can integrate with any other application server like WebSphere or Apaches. Uh, we have other application servers, right? So we'll be able to use this WebLogic, WebSphere, and all those things.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we have CRX available,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
we have Sling content delivery, which helps you to extract the data from the content repository and render it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the UI is rendered through the application, which interacts with the backend code, which is known as Granite UI. Okay, the admin sections are also created in Granite platform using Granite UI technology.
Okay.
So we have admin sections, we have authoring interface, we have publish interface, we have development interfaces. So there are various areas, which are available.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and they took for having these capabilities, there is a web application created for building web application, we can say.
Uh-huh.
So we have some modules like WCM, DAM, workflow, social, campaign. Okay, these are the areas which will help you to maintain your projects, start the review process, um, maintain the detailed assets, start the workflows. So all these capabilities are part of these modules. And on top of that, our custom applications, which we build.
Yeah.
So graphically, if you want to present, it will be like this.
Uh-huh.
So the underlying architecture is Java,
Uh-huh.
okay, where all things run, and there is the content repositories and the Sling content delivery features are available, and these all things basically run inside OSGI framework, where
Okay.
inbuilt services which control the capabilities of the server are also implemented as OSGI services, and your custom
Uh-huh.
applications are also implemented as OSGI services,
Okay.
which you write in Java.
Yeah.
So I need not to discuss about this because you are already from Java background.
Yeah.
So as I said, Granite is Adobe's open web stack. Okay, it forms the technical foundation on which AEM is built.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so these are the individual areas which we have just discussed. So OSGI framework, it's an AEM AEM includes an OSGI component framework based on Apache Flex. Now, the way the implementation happens inside OSGI is based on Apache Flex standard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might need to do little research on Flex also. Did you heard about Apache Flex previously?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, there's a two basically two OSGI frameworks at the moment: Apache Felix and Equinox.
Yeah.
So Felix is, I think, yeah, AEM using the Felix.
Yes, as I said earlier, OSGI is dynamic software component system for Java, and we call this components as bundles. These bundles are nothing but acts as individual services, whether it is related to inbuilt capabilities of the AEM features or it is related to your custom applications.
Okay.
And there can be multiple versions of the same bundle. For example, if you have 10 classes as part of one bundle,
Uh-huh.
which is having some business logic, and
Uh-huh.
you can have another bundle which will have a different version of the same bundle, but will have a
Okay.
different set of classes. So we'll be able to remove the older version of the bundle and have only latest one, or you can have multiple versions running at the same time.
Okay.
uh, there are some advanced concepts related to bundles where you might need to let's say like if the bundle is being referenced by some other another bundle, the business logic which is implemented is one bundle is referenced by another bundle, some functions or methods inside another bundle is being called from some other bundle. So at that time, even if you want to uninstall it, it will not install unless we have unless we stop the bundles which are having dependency and then remove the bundles.
Uh-huh.
So there are a lot of complex topics around. You know, with the powerful technology, we'll get a lot of complexities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can dynamically install, start, or stop, or uninstall these bundles at runtime without shutting
Uh-huh.
down or restarting the entire server
Uh-huh.
or the application. So it's nothing but a jar file holding Java classes that adhere to OSGI specifications.
Okay.
Okay, and of course we have a servlet engine
Uh-huh.
and the inbuilt installation, which is we call it as a quick start installation. It has a built-in CQSC servlet engine runs as a bundle within OSGI framework,
Okay. Is
and
this used in production as well?
no, not for the production. For production, you can use WebLogic or WebSphere or any other J2E compliant
Oh.
application server.
So basically, live applications, they'll go for the proper JTV servers,
Yes, yes,
WebLogic, WebSphere, or that kind of thing. This is only
yes.
inbuilt for like development or anything.
Yeah, this is
That's
for testing and development.
yeah. Okay.
And of course, the Java content repository. So all data within AEM is stored inside built-in CRX content repository, which is an implementation of Java content repository specification,
Uh-huh.
uh, which we have discussed JSR 170 and JSR 286 standard.
Yeah.
And we have also discussed that Jackrabbit is open source implementation of CRX.
Huh? Yeah. There's a new version
So
is
just
Jackrabbit Oak, right?
yeah, the latest one is Jackrabbit Web. Yes.
Yeah.
So JCR repository is a specific type of database designed for fine-grained access for hierarchical, unstructured, and semi-structured data. And it combines features of traditional relational databases with those of conventional file system. So
Uh-huh.
you'll be able to, get similar features of database in
And then
JCR plus
conventional files.
conventional file system capabilities.
Okay. Yeah.
To access the data from JCR, you have to utilize Sling content delivery features. So there are some standards which will help you to access the data from the JCR.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the URL you are coming in as, you'll be getting the data.
Mm-hmm.
And with this feature, it is very complex or very confusing for the hackers to hack your site.
Okay.
Yeah, it acts as an additional layer of security where to access the content from your server in a traditional manner, which is very much done in traditional manner. It's not similar to what you go with the other technologies which you have learned till now to access the data with the paths to refer to
Mm-hmm.
the templates which you execute.
Mm-hmm.
So it is complex. It is little complex, but easy to understand and implement, and it adds additional layer of security. Because at the end of the day, the hackers cannot understand the actual location of the template.
Yeah.
So depending on the URL, the content will be resolved, and it will fetch the correct script and perform the rendering process.
Okay.
So it returns HTML at the end of the day because browsers are built to understand only HTML.
Mm-hmm.
So Sling is content centric. So this means that processing is focused on content, and each HTTP request is mapped onto content in the form of JCR resource. So based on the URL you are giving, the content will be
Mm-hmm.
fetched from the JCR.
Mm-hmm.
So the JSR 170 standard Java specification request for content repository, which allows how the content is fetched and how it is stored or manipulated. So there are
Mm-hmm.
many APIs or packages which have been added as part of the installation. One of the root package known as javax.jcr has a lot of classes which allows you to directly manipulate and access the repository content.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said earlier, Apache Jackrabbit is open source, fully confirming the implementation of this API. But if you see the performance wise and the load wise, reliability and scalability, CRX is more preferable.
Yeah. That's what they use in the production, right? Mostly.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And as part of AEM, we have another area of or another component which comes as the installation called digital asset management
Mm-hmm.
to centrally manage all your digital media files and metadata associated with them. So it could be a video file, it could be an audio file, or it could be an image, it could be a document, a normal manuscript, anything. And in this technology, we use something called in we use something called EXTJS framework, which is
Mm-hmm.
understandable by developers only, not by authors, because authors are non-technical users.
Yes.
So authors basically use the interface to manipulate the content and publish or start the review process for the content.
Mm-hmm.
So the components which are used to manipulate the content are written in EXTJS framework.
Okay.
So if you want to edit an image, you cannot just directly do it unless you have some interfaces which will help you to replace the image, manipulate the image with some capabilities, add metadata to that image. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
authors cannot do it unless they have some interface which will help them to manipulate the image. So the components which are helping to interact with the content or manage the content are written inside EXTJS framework,
Okay.
which is from sancha.com.
Yeah.
Of course, some of the areas can be implemented using EXTJS framework, which is inbuilt, as well as using jQuery. And recently, people started using AngularJS and Bootstrap.
Okay.
And File Vault provides you JCR repository with file system mapping and version controlling. So we have version controlling inbuilt. You'll be able to store the content and multiple versions of the same page with different versions, and you can revert it anytime if you want.
Okay. So that is provided by this file vault.
Yes. And when you want to do the review on the pages which is created by the authors or the assets which are uploaded by the designers, you'll be able to use the workflows which will help the review process to happen faster and efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And you can design your own workflows also, and you can involve people, users inside the workflow. A workflow can be a long-lived or short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to in life cycle, we have
Life
a
cycle,
short-lived process, long-lived process,
long.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So here also we have something called workflows which are created where no users are involved. There are workflows where the users are involved,
Mm-hmm.
or multiple levels of users are involved,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to involve users to review the content, and you can decide when the content will actually go to the publish instance.
Okay.
And we have something called dispatcher. As part of the installation, we got an area called dispatcher, which is a tool
Mm-hmm.
for caching and load balancing.
Yeah.
Of course, localization is at the core of CQ5, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, in in this version, we have hooks which will allow you to connect to translation services, which will do automatic translation for you and save time.
Okay.
So you can connect to translation.com or any other websites which are, providing translation services, and you can connect to them, their services, and utilize their capabilities for auto translation.
Okay.
So to fetch the data from JCR, you need to talk with the help of Sling. It's
Yeah.
a web application framework based on REST principles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Based on the URL you are coming in as, the content will be fetched.
Okay.
So Sling is content centric, and this means that the processing is focused on content, as each HTTP request is mapped onto content in the form of JCR resource. We have something called nodes. Different nodes will have different data stored inside it. So we have places inside the repository where you can have actual source code, and you can
Mm-hmm.
have area in the repository where you'll have actual content,
Okay.
which are part of
Navi, just
yes.
give me 1 second. Huh? 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, Navid. My daughter.
Okay.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Sling request processing.
How many kids you have?
Only one daughter. Is 3 years old.
Uh-huh.
Okay. How about you? Are you married?
Okay. Yes, I'm married.
Okay. How many
I
kids?
have one daughter. One daughter.
One daughter. Okay. All right. Okay. How old is she?
She's just 1.5 year old.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so so based on the URL, it will target the location and it will extract the
Mhm,
script and it will execute the script. Okay, and
mhm.
we have different parts of the URL. If you understand different areas of the URL, you'll be able to understand how the uh, the Sling request processing works. And there are some complex URL examples which I'll give you in the documentation, which will help you
Uh-huh.
to understand how different URLs will help you to fetch the content from different locations, and in what ways you can write the URLs to fetch different content from the repository.
Okay.
So this is one of the complex URLs we have.
Mhm.
So if you see here, we have the protocol given first, the host name,
Yeah.
and after the host name, we get the content path,
Yeah.
okay, which is there inside the content path of the repository. And
Uh-huh.
you'll be able to decide from which folder location you want to fetch the data
Yeah.
by giving the selectors. And then
Yeah.
you can decide what extension to be used, okay,
Mhm.
and decide what query string you want to pass.
Yeah.
Now, based on this, all these parameters, content will be fetched from a specific node. If the page is fetched with an extension in a specific location, you might be interested in getting the data from a different node of data location. So that will be determined based on the suffix and the parameters.
Okay.
A same page can render different content based on the URL you are giving.
Okay.
So you need not to build multiple pages for doing multiple jobs.
All right. Okay.
So we have a structure here. This is the first time I'm introducing you to the repository structure.
Okay.
Majority our source code will be there inside apps folder.
Uh-huh.
And when you create the website, you'll have the website created in the content structure, content folder structure.
Yeah.
Okay. And the templates, actual template configurations and everything will be done in the apps folder. We have the template section, which we'll discuss later.
Mhm.
Based on a template design, pages will be created. So what designer will do is the designer will give you a plain HTML, you add the Java code to it, and you'll
Mhm.
make a JSP file or ESP file,
Yeah.
and you create a template configuration which will map to that JSP file,
Yeah.
and based on that configuration and design of the template, you'll create additional pages.
Yeah.
So you'll leave the header and footer section, and you'll have the middle section, and then you'll have the body area, which is reusable, for multiple pages. But the header section and footer section might not change.
Mhm.
So the content is stored inside the content structure. Your website pages and the content which is associated to those pages, everything is stored inside the content section. Your source code and the templates, the designs of the templates, the JavaScript code, CSS files, PDF files, all that will go as part of apps folder.
Yeah.
Images, video files, audio files will be there in the DAM.
Okay.
So in content structure, if you see, we have the path given. If
Uh-huh.
you see the URL on the top, it
Yeah.
says content slash corporate slash job slash developer.html. This is the URL which is seen by the user in the browser address bar.
Uh-huh.
Now, when the user is giving this path, it is not the actual location of the HTML file which is executing.
Uh-huh.
The actual resource is located somewhere else. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So if you see developer.html page is there anyhow.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The path is resolving, but the actual resource is located in HR/job section.
Yeah.
That is the place where the JSP or ESP file will be located or HTML file will be located. So
Okay.
the resource type will be added on developer.html, which is not visible to the user who is accessing the site. It is an internal configuration where the resource type is defined.
Okay.
So when I hit developer.html, it automatically hits HR/jobs internally.
Okay.
So if you see, the control is shifting from the layer from here to this section.
Yeah.
Apps is assumed, HR/jobs is already given here.
Yeah.
Now it is not telling that jobs.esp or dot.jsp should execute,
Uh-huh.
but the folder name and the script which is there inside the jobs folder, the name of the folder and the script name is matching.
Yeah.
So like in the web root folder, generally you have index.htm,
X.H.
default.htm, yes, which is
Yeah.
recognized as default start page for the website, right?
Yeah.
Similar to that, this is the default script inside the jobs folder, which is assumed, even if you don't give the extension of the file.
Okay.
So if I have department, HR/department folder, if I have department.jsp file,
Uh-huh.
department.jsp will be executed if I don't refer the script.
Okay.
Other scripts you can execute based on the URL changes, which separates with dot.
Uh-huh.
Let's say like if I want to execute and generate a PDF.
Uh-huh.
So there is a file called jobs.pdf.esp, right?
Yeah.
So I can say developer.jobs.pdf.html,
Okay.
which will result in executing that file and generates the PDF form.
Okay.
So the hackers will get confused. Okay, what is this type of URL these people are using? This doesn't look very traditional. They might feel like developer.jsp, developer.jobs.pdf.html is a single file,
Uh-huh.
but it is not. It is first referring to a developer.html, which is located there.
Yeah.
Then it is basically internally having a mapping to the repository location where the actual script is located.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And then it will render the content to the user. It will generate the HTML from that JSP file or ESP file and it will
Uh-huh.
send it to the user back.
Okay.
This is little complex. Unless you implement it, it might not be fully understandable. So I'll help you to implement it practically when we actually go with a project
Okay.
and with
Yeah.
our practicals.
Okay.
So each node inside the hierarchy has the properties. It
Uh-huh.
actually stores the information about what that node is about. Is it a content node or is it a configuration node? What is it? It depends on the properties. So
Okay.
nodes and their properties store content, okay, and rendering script
Uh-huh.
paths. Paths of the scripts will be
Uh-huh.
there in the nodes, and the nodes will define the content structure and their properties. Properties store the actual content and metadata. For example, if some assets are there, And if the user have modified the page content, that content is associated to that page itself. So that content should be associated to the page. It should not be associated to other pages. So page specific content is uh, is there, and it is stored to that page itself inside the structure of the repository. And the scripts, okay, which you have will be given as part of the resource type, points to a rendering script, which will render the content. So a node which is a JCR name is also called a resource in Sling environment. Each node, everything is resource actually in AEM. So authors will be utilizing some interface components to edit the content. So these interface elements are known as widgets. So in CQ, all user inputs is managed by all author inputs is managed by widgets. So it is used to control the editing of a piece of a content.
Okay.
And dialogues are built by combining the widgets. So the screen, what you see, let's say like if I want to edit text, when you double click the text, you'll get a dialogue. So the dialogue has a lot of tabs and a lot of text boxes, radio buttons, and all those form components. Individual entries are known as widgets, and the complete box wizard is known as dialogue. Actually, if you see the dialogue as well as the widgets, individual entries inside the dialogue are widgets built on EXTGS framework. Now the dialogues are of two types. I'll explain that later.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So a dialogue is a special type of widget. To edit content, CQ uses dialogues defined by application developer. So we as a developer have to define what dialogues have to be presented to the author and how authors will interact with the dialogues when the authors are interacting with the dialogues, or where the configuration information needs to be stored. For example, if the user is selecting an image, where the image path needs to be stored so that it can be fetched easily later. If
Uh-huh.
the user is adding content like tables, text, everything, where the text and table structure should be stored, all
Uh-huh.
that have to be decided by the developer.
Okay.
So dialogues are used for editing the metadata and by various administrative tools also. Okay. So there are inbuilt dialogues which are utilized by the installation, and there are custom dialogues which are created by the developers for their applications.
Uh-huh.
And we build a reusable custom components which will solve some problems. Okay. Like in Flex, we used to create custom components as a library project,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then we reuse the component in different applications
Yeah.
without rewriting the complete code. We hook it as a library or runtime shared library, and then utilize it in our application. So similar to like that, we'll be able to you know utilize the capabilities inside AEM, where you find inbuilt components,
Uh-huh.
and you can override the inbuilt components capabilities and write your own features,
Mm-hmm.
or create a complete component from scratch.
Okay. Yeah.
So it might extend the capabilities of the existing inbuilt component, or you can create a new component from scratch,
All right.
which will offer a predefined service.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have something called page rendering components, form components, analytics components, okay, paragraph system components. There are many things like this. Image component, video component. There are many things like this, like
Okay.
how we have
Yeah.
in Flex.
Framework provided components. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Inbuilt.
inbuilt.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have many pages, okay, implemented, and as part of the pages, we'll have components which will be rendering the content, okay, and the page is actually a top level component, and
Yeah.
inside it, sub components will come like text component, paragraph component, image components, all those things.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Navid,
yeah,
for this session, can we uh, like wind up quickly? So because morning sessions will be good for me. I
yeah.
think it's
Okay, then
for
we'll do one thing.
today.
We'll stop here till
Yeah.
components. It's taking too long.
Yeah. The components.
Okay. Yeah,
That's right.
I'm
For
fine.
me as grabbing the thing it takes because I already gone through the basic terms, various areas. But again, we gone through all of these
Uh-huh.
the various products in the